Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network. Great to have you with us on the program today. Our guest, as mentioned, Dr. Richard Ruhling. His website is richardruhling.com, R-U-H-L-I-N-G, richardruhling.com. Information at our website, of course, thisweekinamerica.us. You can log on, link on to Dr. Ruhling's website. As we mentioned, talking in the program today about adverse drug reactions, the leading cause of premature death. Dr. Ruhling, welcome to This Week in America. Great to have you with us on the program.
Good to be with you, Rick.
You know, let's start off in talking about that. I know you feel this is one of the most important health discoveries that you made over the years and in working with a number of patients. The fact that we all want a prescription, we all want to feel better quickly, and you're saying actually sometimes you really need to stay away from that.
Exactly right. The big discovery that I've made is that the body is designed for self-healing. Now, this is intuitive with cuts, bruises, sprains, but I saw it when I was teaching at Loma Linda University. I attended some cardiology meetings because I had a year of cardiology training. And a man by the name of Pritikin, non-physician, was telling doctors, cardiologists, how his diet and exercise program helped get people off of blood pressure medicine. 85% of 200 people no longer needed blood pressure medicine after a month on his diet and exercise. I went and visited his center, invited him to speak, and discovered that he was reversing heart disease and other conditions as well. And to me, it was mind-boggling that, if cuts and bruises will heal and heart disease will heal, which was number one, everything in between should heal too, if we really could know and do it right.
How do we go about pursuing that? How do you go about as a doctor, like taking that knowledge that, okay, for cuts and bruises, we can work with this. How do you go about really implementing that for, like you said, heart disease and for some of the bigger ailments that we go to the doctors for on a regular basis?
Well, the fact is that going to the doctor on the regular basis is the exact wrong approach because the truth is, the medical textbooks are filled with diseases of what they call unknown etiology. It means they don't know what caused it. And if they don't know the cause, how can the drug address the cause? It does not. Even though we might think, well, cholesterol to get my cholesterol down, but for every prescription you look up in the physician's desk reference, I'll give you another example. The purple pill. I looked this up once. Purple pill says heal the damage. They'd say on the TV ad, headache, diarrhea, or abdominal pain. If you have that, tell your doctor. Well, there are really 120 other things besides headache, diarrhea, or abdominal pain that it can do to you. So it's not a good idea to look for a pharmaceutical answer, which is a chemical, and it may do something in the body that you like or relieve your symptom, but it can do a lot of other things to you as well. And bottom line is, I was told by a drug salesman one time, if you want a good medical practice, just start writing prescriptions. They'll come back. Yeah, they got other symptoms too then, So that's not the good way to do it, in my opinion. You have to find the cause. And in most cases, doctors do not talk to patients much about diet because, number one, they don't think they're going to change anyway, And number two, they're not well trained in diet or nutrition. So why do that? Just write the prescription quickly. You can get them out the door fast. That'll help them, and they'll come back when they need it.
Well, and
that's
you
the
talk
whole system, basically.
And you talk a lot about the prescriptions actually masking the symptoms rather than providing a cure. So all you're doing is sort of covering up whatever the particular symptom is, but whatever's causing it is not going away on its own.
Sooner or later, people will need to take a second prescription because of the symptom that the first one is causing. We get toxic in time. That's not food. This was chemical. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, said, "Let your food be your medicine." And we've bought DuPont's slogan, "Better living through chemistry." It isn't so. Talk to any senior citizen, and you'll find out who's taking a bag of pills. If their thinking is still clear, it's really not. It's not the best idea.
Joining us on This Week in America is Dr. Richard Ruhling. His name is spelled R-U-H-L-I-G. His website is richardruhling.com. A lot of great information there, including you can download a free ebook, Wake Up America, which talks about a number of the issues that Dr. Ruhling is talking about on the program. Of course, you can go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on as well. And well, it's interesting because as we're talking about adverse drug reaction, We're actually talking about prescriptions properly prescribed and administered, not doc error. Some people would hear that and go, well, there was a medical error of some kind. Adverse drug reaction, these basically start off as doctors prescribing as they're supposed to.
That's correct. It's like taking Vioxx for arthritis, but dying of heart attack. It's not an overdose. It's not wrongly prescribed. It's just the way some people react to that particular chemical. And the Journal of American Medical Association in 1998 on tax day, April 15, reported 106,000 deaths in hospitals from this phenomena, adverse drug reactions. 2 years later, the Western Journal of Medicine reported outpatients. The first study was in hospitals, second outpatients, 199,000 deaths. So you add them together, in and out of hospitals, 305,000, and that was 14 years ago, okay? The archives of internal medicine, after 7 years, that the death rate had gone up 2.7-fold. Well, this is now 14 years, so it's 2.7-fold and 2.7-fold more. It's 1.5 million. It's like a 9/11 daily, okay? But Congress doesn't stop it. I moved to the D.C. area to confront senators. I talked to one senator from, I won't say from where, but she said, you're wasting your time. They own us. She was referring to the contributions by drug companies to re-election campaigns. What senator or congressman wants to go against the drug companies who are going to donate to your opponent if you don't vote their way? So bottom line is they're sold out, and this is a bad system. And they won't sign up for Obamacare. They're exempt. They don't want what they're going to put on everybody else. Bad situation.
It's interesting. As I'm reading Wake Up America, it's an ebook. And by the way, you can download that free at richardruling.com. As I'm reading that, I'm seeing there this dramatic increase in the number of deaths because of adverse drug reactions, starting about the same time that drug companies were allowed to advertise on television. I believe that was back in 1997. Coincidence, or do you see that connection?
Well, the article didn't know, but I see the connection. When you approve drug ads and they ask your doctors a great thing going for them, that's when the deaths started going up. So I think clearly there's a causal. The other thing that I see too is that while I was teaching Melinda, this was now the mid 70s, the dean of the school, who was the most educated man that I know, had 3 doctor's degrees, MD, taught anatomy, PhD in pharmacology, was chairman of the department before they started a school of public health, and he took every course in nutrition Harvard had to offer. Very intelligent. That was back when they had not so many courses, but in the 60s. But he came to me in the mid 70s and said, they're starting to call medical care health care. That was a revelation to him, because up until then, it was always see your doctor, medical care, but now we call it health care. And of course, everybody wants health. So see the doctor. That's the big lie that America, we've swallowed the hook with the fish on it.
Well, and Dr. Ruling is a retired physician. He was assistant professor of health sciences at Loma Linda, as he's talked about. He was a board certified in internal medicine, authored Why You Shouldn't Ask Your Doctor, and other books available at Amazon.com. The Wake Up America can be downloaded free at his website, richardruling.com. Interesting also when you talk about Loma Linda that you were there, and part of what you did was with some executives, you would give them physicals, and they were all asking about, could their diet be creating the problem? And it was interesting, the response you got. And then later, a doctor partner of yours, who was an allergist, gave you a totally different answer, which is, yes, it can be, and I can cure, in this case, headaches sometimes if I know what your diet is.
Thank you for reminding me. Specifically, I had 3 different executives. One said that sugar bothered his joints, another said cheese bothered his joints, another said that meat bothered his joints. And these were intelligent guys that could figure it out. When I got headaches, I wasn't quite that smart. I couldn't figure. I even asked a neurologist at the medical center who taught medical students. I said, could anything I eat or drink be the cause of my headaches? He said that would be very rare for my type of headache. And I later learned he didn't know what he was talking about. When I went into practice with 5 physicians, one was an allergist. I saw people drove hundreds of miles to see him, and I asked, how many people with headaches can you help? He said about 9 out of 10. He tested me, and I was amazed that I would not have thought that it was a food that I loved, ate daily. In my case, it was wheat. For somebody else, it might be dairy products. Who knows what? Peanuts. Any of those. It depends on the individual and their weakness particularly, but I had been overdoing on the wheat. I love pastries, pastas, and things like that, and probably was getting toxic to it. Bottom line, if you become allergic to something, you don't necessarily notice it when you eat it. I'll give you the example of tobacco. When people smoke, they don't get sick. They get sick if they try to quit on withdrawal. That's when they get their symptoms. And that was when my symptoms came. My wife knew if I didn't have bread every day, sandwiches, I wouldn't feel filled up. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I had 2 sandwiches. On the weekend, she'd say, oh, you get bread every day. We're having fresh fruit, vegetables, other things. Sunday morning was oat waffles, but it wasn't toast. And every Monday morning was headache, and I couldn't figure it out because I wasn't partying and I didn't hate my job. So bottom line, it's really tricky. But I would say for people that are listening to your broadcast, cutting down on medicines and drugs that are going to kill them sooner or later or give them bad problems, they really should do it. And go to the website, richardruling.com. I'm doing a live-in, cheaper, really on the cheap. You know, if you go to the Longevity Center, I had a Men at Hearts group in Chattanooga, president, leader of the group, saying if he spent $8,000 for the Longevity Center, but if you go to Dr. Ruling's seminar, you get about the same thing. In this case, I'm doing a live-in. People can stay in a motel for about $225 for a week at budget suites. And 5 days, we have motivational stuff all day long with cooking demonstrations, exercise, different stuff like that. And it's on the cheap for $6.95, which is about a tenth of what you would pay if you took your spouse to some other center for a week.
You know,
so anyway, take a look at it, and it's worth the investment, I think, you know.
Yes, and the information on that available at richardruling, RUHLING.com, available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us as well. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that you'll be discussing with people who come and spend this week with you, because these are the things that whether we go or not, we really need. These are messages we need to hear. What do we need to know about nutrition, and how important is that in being healthy, maintaining health?
Nutrition is at the bottom core of it, because stop and think, if you were 6 to 8 pounds normal when you were born, and 160 or 280 pounds later you got a problem, basically it's what went in through our mouth, you know. And it can be reversible, that's the good news. But bottom line is, it's hard to know sometimes how to do it in a balanced way. And people do get addicted to certain things. It's kind of like detox in a sense. But the first day of our 5 days will be a focus on things to detox. I'll give you a simple example, if I may.
Sure.
And it's not easy, but the most overlooked cause of medical symptoms today, in my opinion, in America and maybe around the world, is caffeine. Okay, it is a drug. People get addicted to it. If they try to quit, they get a headache. Okay, but it's not only headache. It's I wish I had a $20 bill for every patient that wanted a tranquilizer for their nerves, who was drinking quite a bit of coffee, or a sleeping pill. Can't sleep. Coffee makes real good sleep difficult. The coronary care unit won't allow caffeine. It could trigger fatal arrhythmia. The purple pill for the stuff, it turns the stomach acid on big time. They used to do caffeine stimulation studies to see how much acid after the caffeine when they were first discovering its effects. My daughter got breast lumps working the night shift because fibrocystic disease of the breast is a common response that women can get from methylxanthines, which the caffeine breaks down to. So bottom line, many problems, even a cleft palate, hair lip, which is a congenital disorder, cancer. The pancreas was found in one study, New England Journal of Medicine report, with 1,000 cases. They found a strong link to the guys that wrote that article for the New England Journal quit drinking coffee. They were so that convinced. So bottom line, it's a problem, but we can help you through the withdrawal and for other things too, whether it's foods. We'll be eating a lot that's raw, and showing a DVD on how to reverse not just heart disease, but diabetes, blood pressure, even cancers can be reversed. Owned by the DVD and medical practitioner. One Ruth Heydrich got breast cancer and reversed her breast cancer by turning down the 5 physicians' advice to have radical surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. She'd been in the military. She didn't want radiation, etc. Anyway, that's part of the foretaste of the week. If people will bite the bullet and do it, they can be feeling much better on much less medication and a new lease on life, basically.
You know, it's interesting because you talk in the book, Wake Up America, and again, that's the free ebook. You can download that at the website, richardruling, RUHLING.com. You talk about drug toxicity, and we've only got about 30 seconds or so left in the program. I want to have you back to talk about that. You say in a number of cases, probably, that you see somebody die suddenly from heart disease. Well, they may have had their heart stop because of drug toxicity. And all of us, and I'm as guilty as anybody, when something is wrong, it's like, I got to go see the doctor. I have to get an antibiotic. I have to get a pill. I have to get something to make this go away. And Doctor, apparently in the beginning of the book, you're talking about the book is dedicated to the victims. And you were saying basically you helped perpetrate that in the beginning and you saw the light. What does it take for doctors to really understand you got to stop a little bit with the prescriptions and maybe talk more about nutrition?
Well, the whole system is wrong, basically. Doctors, it's economy. They walk in your office, you got to see them in 10 minutes. You can't hardly talk about diet in 10 minutes.
Right.
Most of them quit if they do. If you go to a special program like I'm offering, those people want to address the issue, and to see the films and videos and different things that are motivational are helpful and instructional.
So you've got a whole doctor's visit for a week is basically what that comes down to. They have your attention during this period. That's right. Information available at richardruling.com. Dr. Richard Ruling, our guest on the program. That's RUHLING.com. Information on the week as well as his books, including Wake Up America. That's an ebook available at the website. You can download that free. So much good information there. Dr. Ruling is a cardiologist, board-certified internist. Worked for a number of years in practice, and so many great stories, and we'll have him back on the program. Dr. Ruling, thank you for joining us. A fascinating discussion. We'll have you back on the program. My pleasure and privilege. Thank you so much, Rick. Thanks, Doctor. You're listening to This Week in America on the Blue Funk Broadcasting Radio Network.